Hello and welcome to the Two Dyspraxics, episode 19. I'm Matthew Munson.
And I'm Barbara Neill.
And today we're going to be talking about how to cope when things go wrong or don't go according to plan, more generally. Interesting one. It's kind of, we're trying to think of examples actually to give, and it's one of those things that things don't always go according to plan in any walk of life, but actually then trying to think of specifics can be quite a difficult one to...
Yeah, and also if you're dyspraxic and have to deal with it, for example, getting lost. I mean, that's something that doesn't go according to plan. Frequently.
I mean, even today, for example, I mean, thankfully it worked well. I mean, I've come to visit Barbara in the West Wing of Dyspraxia Towers, an undisclosed location.
Maidstone.
Whoops,
I've just disclosed it.
Whoops, it's no longer undisclosed. And I've never been to Maidstone, with a particular part of Maidstone where Barbara lived before. So for me, it was actually trying to make sure I didn't get completely lost. Now, I've got enough experience now. I've used the times when I have got lost and not prepared for it as a learning exercise to prepare for it. Now, thankfully, Barbara gets where I'm coming from, and she emailed me some rather wonderful instructions that I followed to the letter and got here pretty much without a hitch, except for the fact I started doubting myself at one point, and I turned left down a particular lane, and I couldn't see towards the end of the road. So I started to think, is this right? Should I turn back? Have I followed Barbara's instructions correctly? Have I not? So for me, my coping strategy, my way of dealing with it was just trust the instructions. Trust the instructions I've been given. I'm not afraid to ask for help. So I had Barbara on speed dial if I got too lost. She'd given me instructions, she'd give me some damn good directions to take. Just trust the instructions, trust that actually what I've got written down is actually accurate, because Barbara knows the area far better than I do. She lives here, for heaven's sake. Just relax, stay calm, and just believe in the piece of paper you've got in your hand. You're clutching like a lifeline. And for me, that was my saviour. That helped me. But I did feel anxious, funny enough, as I walked. I didn't know where I was going.
Yes, and do you know, something that stands out a mile to me about that is the fact that nothing had actually gone wrong.
No.
So, which is often the case. We find that we're envisaging something awful happening, but it's when the self-doubt creeps in. So, particularly as far as getting lost is concerned, very often we're not actually lost at all. We're just getting anxious about the possibility of being lost. So, the very first thing to do is to relax about it. And as Matthew says, don't be afraid to ask for directions. Don't be afraid to I can't remember what I was going to say then.
Short-term memory. Short-term memory. It'll come back to you.
Yes, it will at the most inopportune moment, I'm sure. But no, I think the important thing is to just be relaxed. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
You can envisage the worst-case scenario if that helps. And I mean, that might sound a bit cock-eyed, really, but if you envisage what's the worst thing that can possibly happen, and as we often say, what can possibly go wrong?
Exactly.
But if you envisage that, now what is the very worst thing that can happen? Now in Matthew's case, on his way here, he'd be a bit late getting here. So what? It really doesn't matter. So if you can just think about what's the worst thing that can happen.
And sometimes I think, but we're often our own worst enemies. We put the pressure on ourselves.
Exactly. More often than not.
Yeah.
Exactly that.
We think there's going to be some external thing that will go wrong if this thing doesn't happen, if we're late or whatever. Well, actually, we're just a bit late.
Yeah.
So what? It's us putting pressure on ourselves a lot of the time. When our anxiety is high, we start to panic, and then panic starts to affect, and we're not thinking logically anymore. We're starting to, just to panic, pure and simple.
Yeah, but what do they call it? Blind panic.
Right. Yeah.
Now, there's an example of that actually. I was at a workshop some time ago, and I went into the canteen with a friend who, somebody I got friendly with on the course. And we went to the canteen, and we said, right, okay, I'll meet you. I think one of us went to the loo or something, and so, okay, I'll see you in the canteen. And I saw my friend just doing all this, and looking around and seeing a sea of faces and not being able to find me. And I think that's where the expression blind panic comes from, because I was there, obviously.
Oh, yeah.
But she was scanning like mad, and just couldn't see me, and started to get panicky because there were all these people in the canteen and she couldn't see the one person she was supposed to be finding. So I think if she'd stopped, slowed down, and just looked around quite happily and comfortably, knowing that I was there somewhere, I wasn't anywhere else, then it would have been so much easier. So it really is just a case of us making our own problems where there aren't necessarily any there. I mean, even when something does go wrong, in inverted commas, like my car, for example, is broken down at the moment, so I'm not mobile. And yes,
the course on car mechanics for Dyspraxics will come at a later point.
Yes, it will. You think we're joking?
No, it really will.
But it will. And yeah, so, but mind you, having not taken advantage of the course for dyspraxic car mechanics, I can't really do anything about my car at the moment. So,
no, same here.
So I'm at other people's mercy for now. But yes, I mean, it seems like a massive disaster because I'm used to being mobile. I'm used to having my car to rely on. But by making just one or two changes, because it's likely to be a little while before it's back on the road, and it's really not a problem. It's really not. So it's just taking the fear out of our expectations, if you like. So I think the idea really, what's the word I'm looking for? I'm doing it again.
The ambition, the goal.
No, the goal, the
message.
Something. The way to handle it. The way to handle it is really to not have unrealistic expectations. So yes, things don't always go according to plan, and particularly if you're dyspraxic, it's probably going to happen more than it does for neurotypical people. So the idea is to expect things to be more fluid, I suppose. So expect things to happen in a way that you're not expecting, which is a bit a strange way of putting it.
But actually allocate time to dealing with the unexpected. Don't kind of, if you're going somewhere, don't leave. Okay, you think something's going to take you half an hour, or leave 45 minutes in advance so that you've got extra time. If you're there early, well, if you're too early, you can go for a walk around the block or something. Just that's what I do. I'll get somewhere early, then go for a walk on the block for 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Whilst I'm early for the whatever it is.
Yeah. But I think the important thing is to not worry about it. Not worry about something that might not even happen. And then if it does happen, you can deal with it. If you're more relaxed about it, you're in a better position to deal with things. So relaxation is very, very useful. Actually, I've just thought of something I tell my hypnotherapy clients, and I tell everybody this because it's something you can do with or without hypnotherapy. I build it into a session as well, so it goes into people's subconscious. But if you feel anxiety creeping up on you, the very best thing that you can do is to take a deep breath, completely exhale, because if you don't, then you're in danger of hyperventilating, which is not what you want to achieve. No. So completely exhale. As you do so, you automatically relax, and you cannot physically be relaxed and anxious at the same time. It's a physical impossibility. So instead of focusing your attention on whatever it is you're being anxious about, so in other words, if you're late for something, as that's the example that we've been using really, don't think, I will not be anxious about it, I'm not going to worry about being late, because you're focusing your attention on it. Instead of that, if you take the deep breath, allow yourself to exhale fully, and then focus on that feeling of relaxation, which is really good. And even if it only lasts a moment, just by focusing your attention on that relaxation and how good that feels, you've then allowed the anxiety to drift away. And if necessary, you can do that again. But the thing to remember is that you cannot physically be relaxed and anxious at the same time. And by choosing relaxation over anxiety, you've taken back control. So if you just do that, if you find yourself in a stressful setting, that's something you can do. And we're breathing all the time anyway, so you don't have to put yourself out to do it. It's just breathing consciously. And remember to exhale fully, notice that relaxation, and that anxiety will drift away. You can do it again, you can do it as many times as you need to. But by focusing your attention on relaxation, I'm sorry, I'm really hammering this point home now. But it is something of a light bulb moment, I think, to know that you cannot harbour both those things at the same time.
I think actually it's really important to note that, because I think when you have dyspraxia, there's a lot more to be anxious about a lot of the time. Yeah. So actually, I know I have in my life, I've experienced quite heightened anxiety for a lot longer than I assume my neurotypical counterparts. So actually, to know that there's a way of kind of controlling that is actually a very refreshing thing to be aware of.
Yeah, and it doesn't matter where you are or what the circumstances are. You're breathing anyway.
Yeah.
So it's not as though you have to do anything different or put yourself out in any way. You really don't. It's just about being conscious of that exhaling and the relaxation that goes with it. And knowing you can congratulate yourself after that, because by choosing relaxation over anxiety, you have taken back control. So you can control it, and that's the way to do it. Not by pushing anxiety away, but by just taking that deep breath and choosing that relaxation. So it's a really good way to deal with any kind of situation that is stressful. And it actually stops it from being stressful. So then you can find that you can think more clearly, you can be more rational, so whatever the situation is, you can deal with it in a proper sort of methodical manner, and get yourself out of it, and get yourself back to where you want to be. So it's something that's quite fundamental, but very, very effective, very powerful.
Yeah, I think actually that's the message. That is the message that I think perhaps we've been looking for the last 11 minutes is that relaxation, that calm, finding that calmness. And I tell you, if I'd have, when I was younger, if I'd have had found my calm spot and being able to stay unstressed and relaxed, anxiety levels would never have risen as high as they did in my 20s with a lot of other things that I was going through for the first time. And yeah, I think seeing we can get the message across in this context of dealing with new things, the easier we will find it. So I completely agree with that. She's the expert on stuff, and that's why we have to defer to Barbara on.
Thank you for
on that. Yeah. Well, it's interesting because we are kind of two halves of the whole there. You're kind of the provider of that in terms of hypnotherapy, and I'm actually I am a layman of I'm not a hypnotherapist. I have no experience of it. Although I had a discussion with Barbara, we've got some work to do on that actually. So watch out for future videos on that. But I can feel reassured by that as a layman, not as a member of the Two Dyspraxics, as just a dyspraxic person. So I hope that's a message that we can.
Well, it's something that works for absolutely everybody. So as long as you focus your attention on the relaxation, that's the important thing, and then feel good about your achievement, because if you're taking back control, you deserve to feel good about that.
Yeah, that's the thing. Whatever you've done, you've accomplished something that before you hadn't accomplished. Even if you couldn't do everything today, you've done enough, and then tomorrow you do some more. Yeah, that's a simple message. We like that message.
We do.
And we've done it, Barbara, in 12 minutes and 44 seconds.
If only we could be that concise most of the time.
If we can but dream. It's an ambition for the future.
Indeed it is.
So on that bombshell, I think we've covered everything. Do you think?
I think so, yes. I mean, I suppose I could just add that I'm sure most people know that worrying about the future really doesn't help. So worrying in any situation is not practical. It doesn't help. It serves no useful purpose. And there's one of those memes I've seen on Facebook that says something about worrying about the future is I can't remember what it is, so I shouldn't have even mentioned it.
I tell you what we'll do. We will find the meme and we'll put it underneath. There you go.
You can find it.
Oh, thanks. If it's not there, it's her fault.
Yeah.
If it is there, I've done it. Simple as that.
But the thing to remember really is that if you find yourself in a stressful situation, if things don't go quite according to plan, there are ways around them. There is always a way around it. And if you start by just relaxing about it, doing that deep breathing method, that actually we could demonstrate it.
We
could.
We could.
It really is just a case of actually, if you notice then my shoulders drop as I exhale, my shoulders drop. It's because everything's relaxing. So where I might be sitting like this to start with, and as you relax, you can actually see that you're relaxing.
Body forces you to.
Yeah. It works.
It works. Well, we've got up to 14:25, Barbara. So I think before we tempt fate, so watch out below for the meme if it's there. And any thoughts, comments, as usual, please do comment in the usual ways: YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, all the usual ways that we have to communicate.
Yeah, and anything that you'd like us to discuss on your behalf, we'll be very happy to do so. So just let us know. We always love hearing from people, don't we?
Yeah, the more the merrier.
Yeah.
The more the merrier. Well, I'm up to on our Facebook page, up to over 500 likes now on our Facebook
That's
page.
amazing. I
Which is
didn't realise
great.
we were that well liked.
All tolerated. yeah.
So,
Thank you for watching. That's it.
Yes,
That's it for
indeed.
episode 19. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you again for
next
episode
time.
20. Bye for now.
Bye.